morning, everyone. Thank you, Dasha.
I'm so excited to have you here, and more excited to be even outside. So we haven't had a movement person yet, so I'm like thrilled, and thank you, Sam, for the introduction. So really appreciate it.
Well, hopefully we'll have a good time today and learn a little bit about natural movement. Just want to introduce myself. My name's Chi Bang. I have been in the Boston fitness industry for just a little bit over 2 decades now. Just worked with a lot of different people, from children to athletes to women recovering from pregnancy and people from injuries, so surgeries as well. So I've seen a lot of different clients throughout the stages of their life. But one of the things that has really resonated with me is over the past year or two, I was introduced to MoveNat. And MoveNat is a company, you can look them up. It's based around natural movement, natural human movement, okay? I'm sure you guys have seen some other things that incorporate some other animals and things like that, but the founder, Erwan Lacour, one of his things he says is like, does a tiger wake up in the morning and say, let me move like a monkey? So in that sense, so that's why what I want to go over is more about natural human movement, not like other movements. Like, yes, can we mimic animals? Yes, we can. But why haven't we optimized the way that we move naturally as human beings, how our bodies are meant and designed to move? Okay, we'll go over kind of like the evolution of things, how we went from like primates, okay, to we were a quadruped moving around on 4 limbs, and then eventually got up to upright standing position, and then we were able to climb and crawl and jump, things like that. All these things are natural human movements. Have we lost the capacity to do so because we have evolved, or have we really devolved? Okay, think about that. Because we have been sitting for so long, we've gone away from the things that have brought us to where we've become, and we've lost our capacity to do so. And so what I want to explore today is kind of like some of the fundamentals that kind of brought us to where we are, and how we can kind of bring those things back into our lives. And adaptation should be working toward efficiency and not losing capacity during that efficiency. Okay, so just because we can use things to stand up, okay, like I can come up to an object and help myself stand up. Yes, that's more efficient, but have we lost capacity because we just rely on efficiency and not so much our own capacity? Can we do it without that? And if we can't, why? And those are the missing links and the pieces that we have to put back into our own personal practice on a daily basis. So that way, when we do avoid an activity, it's not due to a loss of capacity as much as it is due to a choice. Okay? It's not like I'm gonna be like, well, I don't want to jump over that. I don't want to jump over Dasha. Not because I can't jump over Dasha, because maybe I don't want to scare Dasha. Okay, I want to jump over her and then she'll be freaked out and have a heart attack maybe.
Go for it, jump over.
But in any case, it's because of those things. We want to say, think about when we are moving and the choices that we make. Is it because we can't do it, or because we choose not to do it? I can do it if I want to do it, but I'm I don't want to do it. It's just I can drink that A drink or B drink, but I choose B. Not because I can't drink A, I just don't like A. But if I wanted to, I could. But that's capacity, okay? That means you don't want to lose capacity. So you want to always make sure that you're practicing these things that are in between what you really enjoy doing, just to make sure that you don't lose capacity throughout your life. We see that over age, as people become more and more reliant on technology to kind of help them with their lives, they lose capacity, And then as we get older and older, we are not doing those things anymore. And because of that, we end up losing all these capacities, and then, things that should be very natural to us become very foreign to us. So you think about those things and you're like, wow, you know what I mean? We probably have all encountered these things either personally or with someone else in our lives. They're like, wow, why can't they do that? You know what I mean? But why? Probably because they stopped doing it. Well, I heard the saying a few times now. It's like, you don't get old, or you don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. Okay? So think about that. How often do you go out and play, like children? You know what I mean? Watch the way that kids move. Like they are probably your best teachers. You know what I mean? The way that they move, they're evolving, but you don't want to get them to the point where they're so evolved that they forget all the fundamentals that brought them there. But if you want to learn, watch a child, watch a toddler that like crawls around, stands up, stumbles a little, falls down, gets back up. You know what I mean? Those are the things that we should be doing all the time, but we kind of like lost our interest in that because that seems like rudimentary, kind of primitive. But now you see a lot of movement and a lot of a big like shift now back to like primal movements and things like that. So why? This is exactly why. I want to talk a little bit about barefoot training. I'm not going to go too far into it because it is a rabbit hole that we can jump into. Okay, but however, I want to just touch briefly upon it.
I see you.
I do want to touch briefly upon it in terms of like the benefits. Okay, like I own a facility in Back Bay, and a lot of my team is here, and some of the other people that come into the space. And one of the things is we don't allow outdoor sneakers into the space. So people can wear indoor sneakers, but we kind of promote the use of like no footwear in the space. So that way, you ask why. Well, why is, like I said, I'm only going to touch briefly upon it, but at the bottom of your feet, there are muscles there as well, okay? So when you wear sneakers and footwear all day long and you never expose your feet to the actual ground and any kind of different environment, you're really just walking around in casts all day long, okay? So if you had a cast on your arm and you walked around for your entire life with a cast on your arm, when you took that cast off, what is that arm gonna look like compared to the other arm? Massive amounts of muscle atrophy, okay? So if you look at it from that standpoint, all these people suffering from like flat foot, this and that, and like imbalances, and instead of like correcting the problem by like strengthening the muscles on the bottom of the feet, what do? Hey, let's put on more casts, let's throw in some insertions into our shoes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to like take your feet, get them stronger, teach them how to activate, and one of the other things is like there's tons of nerve endings on the bottom of your feet, okay? When you are just like covering them up, you might as well just put your neuromuscular system or your neurological system in like a sleeper hold, you know what I mean? Because that's what you're doing, okay? As you walk around barefoot, your feet are just kind of like vacuums of like information. It's just sucking everything up. You're touching different environments. It's giving you feedback, and it's also think of the neuromuscular pathway as like highways. Okay, you were born with highways, but the less you use them, more shrubs grow over them, and eventually becomes like a 5-lane highway down to like a one-way street, or maybe even a bike path. Okay, so that's what's happening when you're not walking around barefoot. You want to expose your nervous system to these tactile cues, so you're constantly getting feedback. And when you're working out, like we promoted barefoot training, but everyone gets a much better workout when they're walking around barefooted. I'm not saying for every single thing, but I'm saying like for the general part, like obviously if you need footwear for safety, I'm not saying like, hey, ditch the footwear altogether, but there's purposes behind everything. But if you don't need it, then you should try to like spend a little bit more time without your shoes on. So we'll go over like some technique models, and we'll kind of go over like efficiency and making sure that like through efficiency we're not losing capacity. So instead of like wasting this beautiful day indoors, I want to take this outside and we're gonna actually start moving and applying some of these principles. Cool. So you should probably like, if you have water, take your water with you. I don't know.
We have this room, so you guys can just keep everything here if you want, rather than bring it outside. I'll
Yeah.
close the door.
Yeah, we could either leave your shoes in here, or I'm probably gonna take my shoes off out there.
Dasha,
Yeah.
are you locking the door?
No.
Am I leaving my purse here? I thought of that, I didn't know what to do.
That's a good question, I guess. Yeah, let me see if there's something here.
And if you guys wanna bring your bags as well, you can bring your bags, cause we're gonna eventually like lift things, and like we'll kinda like talk about like lifting and kind of the efficiency model around that.
I mean, there's a spot in here that you guys can put stuff in here, but yeah, it's not gonna be locked, but
Is that because they
it's
lost
better
that
than outside.
to like
I'm gonna leave my stuff here.
themselves? Like,
Well, I think the muscles is like activated.
that's what I would
Yeah.
And like,
Not a good idea.
but there's a client of ours, and he actually had flat feet, now he doesn't have flat feet.
So the arches are bad. Oh, wait, well, because like I'm wrestling between that, like nothing and. The back part. So it's because you've lost like the ability to connect on it, like it has arches, it's better.
Like